In heaven, all the interesting people are missing. The Christian resolution to find the world ugly and bad has made the world ugly and bad. In Christianity, neither morality nor religion come into contact with reality at any point. After coming into contact with a religious man, I always feel I must wash my hands. A casual stroll through the lunatic asylum shows that faith does not prove anything. Is man merely a mistake of God's? Or God merely a mistake of man? Faith, not wanting to know what is true. Is man one of God's blunders? Or is God one of man's blunders? Two great European narcotics, alcohol and Christianity. God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. Do not allow yourselves to be deceived. Great minds are skeptical. One is not converted to Christianity, one must be morbid enough for it. The only excuse for God is that he doesn't exist. Priests, these turkey cocks of God. Faith means the will to avoid knowing what is true. Whatever a theologian regards as true must be false. There you have almost a criterion of truth. One should not go into churches if one wants to breathe pure air. Christians call it faith. I call it the herd. All truth is simple, is that not doubly a lie? I have not come to know atheism as a result of logical reasoning and still less as an event in my life. In me it is a matter of instinct. Christianity was from the beginning, essentially and fundamentally, life's nausea and disgust with life, merely concealed behind, masked by, dressed up as, faith in another or better life. So long as the priest, that professional negator, slanderer and poisoner of life, is regarded as a superior type of human being, there cannot be any answer to the question, what is truth? The word Christianity is already a misunderstanding. In reality, there has been only one Christian, and he died on the cross. Sins are indispensable to every society organized on an ecclesiastical basis. They are the only reliable weapons of power. The priest lives upon sins. It is necessary to him that there be sinning. I am Zarathustra the godless. Where shall I find my equal? All those who give themselves their own will and renounce all submission, they are my equals. God is dead, but given the way of men, there may still be caves for thousands of years in which his shadow will be shown. And we still have to vanquish his shadow, too. One had better put on gloves before handling the New Testament. The presence of so much filth makes it highly advisable. What if God were not exactly truth, and if this could be proved? And if he were instead the vanity, the desire for power, the ambitions, the fear, and the enraptured and terrified folly of mankind? But let me open up my heart to you completely, my friends. If there were gods, how could I bear not being a god? Hence, there are no gods. I drew this conclusion, to be sure, but now it draws me. It was Christianity which first painted the devil on the world's walls. It was Christianity which first brought sin into the world. Belief in the cure which it offered has now been shaken to its deepest roots. but belief in the sickness which it taught and propagated continues to exist. All religions bear traces of the fact that they arose during the intellectual immaturity of the human race, before it had learned the obligations to speak the truth. Not one of them makes it the duty of its God to be truthful and understandable in his communications. The soul must have its chosen sewers to carry away its ordure. This function is performed by persons, relationships, professions, the fatherland, the world, or finally, for the really arrogant, I mean our modern pessimists, by the good God himself. God, immortality of the soul, redemption, beyond, without exception, concepts to which I have never devoted any attention, or time, not even as a child. Perhaps I have never been childlike enough for them. I do not by any means know atheism as a result, even less as an event. It is a matter of course with me, from instinct. I am too inquisitive, too questionable, too exuberant to stand for any gross answer. God is a gross answer, an indelicacy against us thinkers, at bottom merely a gross prohibition for us, you shall not think. Parasitism is the only practice of the Church, with its ideal of anemia, its holiness, draining all blood, all love, all hope for life, the beyond as the will to negate every reality, the cross as the mark of recognition for the most subterranean conspiracy that ever existed against health, beauty, whatever has turned out well, courage, spirit, graciousness of the soul, against life itself. As is well known, the priests are the most evil enemies, but why? Because they are the most impotent. It is because of their impotence that in them hatred grows to monstrous and uncanny proportions, to the most spiritual and poisonous kind of hatred. The truly great haters in world history have always been priests, likewise the most ingenious haters. Other kinds of spirit hardly come into consideration when compared with the spirit of priestly vengefulness. However modest one may be in one's demand for intellectual cleanliness, one cannot help feeling, when coming into contact with the New Testament, a kind of inexpressible discomfiture, for the unchecked impudence with which the least qualified want to raise their voice on the greatest problems, and even claim to be judges of such things, surpasses all measure. The shameless levity with which the most intractable problems, life, world, God, purpose of life, are spoken of, as if they were not problems at all but simply things that these little bigots knew. For such is man, a theological dogma might be refuted to him 1,000 times, provided, however, that he had need of it, he would again and again accept it as true. Belief is always most desired, most pressingly needed where there is a lack of will. Fanaticism is the sole, volitional strength, to which the weak and irresolute can be excited, as a sort of hypnotizing of the entire sensory-intellectual system. The transition from religion to scientific contemplation is a violent, dangerous leap, which is not to be recommended. In order to make this transition, art is far rather to be employed to relieve the mind overburdened with emotions. Out of the illogical comes much good. It is so firmly rooted in the passions, in language, in art, in religion, and generally in everything which gives value to life. It is only the naive people who can believe that the nature of man can be changed into a purely logical one. We have yet to learn that others can suffer, and this can never be completely learned.